This plant is Monotropia uniflora. It's called a corpse lily, death flower. But when you walk through the woods and run into one of them, it's going to look like a mushroom, a weird mushroom that comes over and points downward. This is something you will never see, except here. These flowers never entwine around each other, and they never point up. And I discovered them by accident. I was laying on the ground. If you're doing macro photography, you're going to spend a lot of time on the ground. And I reached out and I felt something weird. There's a pile of wet leaves, and they felt springy. You get used to how the forest feels, and that just didn't feel right. So I wonder what's under there. I hope it's not a bumblebee nest or something. So I pulled the leaves off, and this thing just sprung up. They were pushing under the leaves, and that contorted them enough so that they wound around each other and pointed up instead of downward. This is a single image. This is not stacked. I took this a couple of years before I started stacking images. This is 2008, and it's one of the loveliest pictures I've ever taken. I call it just the two of us, and it's a big favorite of mine. The Monotropia uniflora, actually all the monotropas, have a strange way of growing. First of all, they're not mushrooms. You're going to look at them in the woods, you're going to think it's a weird mushroom. It's not. You can see here it has regular flower structure, and it makes seeds. The thing about it is that it doesn't have a normal root structure. They don't grow the way plants normally grow. If they're mushrooms, they grow into stuff that's moldering and live on the stuff that's living there, decaying there. Regular plants have chlorophyll in them, and they make their food with sun power, and carbon dioxide and stuff they get out of the ground. What people don't generally know is that fungi and green plants grow together. Their root structures intertwine they're called mycorrhizae or something like that. They're little bundles of stuff where the green plants and the fungi come together. The fungi pump water up to the green plants, and they get fed back some of that water after it's been in the plant, and it carries carbohydrates and proteins with it. So the mushrooms are pumping stuff into the plant, contributing something. Some of it washes back out, and it feeds the mushrooms, and everybody's happy. And then these things come along and they steal. They grow down into that combination. They'll take stuff that comes from the tree, which is carbs and proteins, and they'll take water and minerals from the mushrooms, and they appears to be a they call it saprophytic at one point. They steal things from both of them. It's not contributing anything. A biologist was in here one time, and I asked him, I said, maybe the monotropes mediate the transfer stuff between them, and without the monotropes there, they don't connect as well. And he did tell me that would make a good PhD thesis project, and I told him, thank you very much, but when you've been through that once, only crazy people jump back into it again.